Welcome to 10 Minute Takes. This is where we rate films first, then we talk about them. So, Equalizer 2. The first sequel that Denzel Washington has ever made. Was it worth it? 3, 2, 1. Wait for it. No.
I actually thought you were going to say pass it.
I was close.
You know what,
I kind of want to lean towards it, but hang on. We'll get into it. The Equalizer 2 is a sequel to The Equalizer. If you did not see The Equalizer, it is a film where Denzel Washington plays an ex-military guy that's just trying to live a regular life, who then gets pulled into a life of helping the less fortunate. So he's like in this area in the original film that starts, people start getting pushed around by this Russian mob type guy.
Are you talking about the first one?
The first one.
Okay, yeah.
He then goes after the Russian mob to get out of his town, and then he has a sort of a war with this Russian mob, while at the same time doing like nice things for his friends and family, or just his friends. He has no family. His friends.
Is his wife in there? His wife isn't in the first one either. Okay.
And the Equalizer 2 is the sequel to that film.
Yeah.
Is essentially similar premise. It's Denzel Washington. He's the ex-military guy helping random people that he comes across when they're in a tough spot. He uses all of his military background to help them out. More times than not, that just entails him kicking the shit out of a bunch of guys.
It's really, really cool how he does it too. I just
The
think
action scenes are fantastic in this film.
Anytime he does any type of fighting is awesome. But
Starting the timer.
Sorry.
Timer start. Okay, 10 minutes.
Okay, so I said wait for it because I think it just fell short. It's doing really well in theaters this weekend.
Oh, yeah, people are going to see it.
People are seeing it because it's Denzel Washington. And he himself in the film is really good. But I think I like the story, but I think it fell short. And the middle was very long. There was a lot of things in the middle. You have like little moments here and there that was a connection to the story. But then there was like a lot of downtime in the middle. And I was kind of just like, okay, let's get on with it.
I agree with you. The story was okay. I didn't have any problems with the story. It's really the structure of the film that I really have a problem with. Before we get into the things, I'll talk about that in the things that we don't like.
Okay.
But just start with the good stuff, things that we liked. Denzel is once again fantastic. He's good in every movie he does.
Yeah, he's a fantastic actor.
He's probably the one movie star alive today that doesn't need a franchise to really just have a brand. Denzel Washington has transformed himself into a brand, where Tom Cruise really needs... I feel like Tom Cruise needs the Mission Impossible films to try and make his other films outside of the Mission Impossible films relevant.
Yeah.
Denzel Washington doesn't need anything. Denzel himself makes whatever he does relevant, because he is Denzel.
Yeah. I didn't think of it like that, but that makes that makes sense.
The dude's in his 50s, if not pushing 60. This is the first sequel he's ever made. Like, how many stars get to their 60s without ever making a sequel? It's just unfortunate that his first sequel did not hit the highs that you would like to see someone like Denzel hit.
The first one?
The second one. The first one.
Okay.
The first one's I'd give the first one a see it. If you haven't seen the first one, go check it out. It's really good.
It is really good.
It's really enjoyable. The action from the first one carries over to this. It's the same director as well. So Antoine Fuqua directed the first one. He directed this one. This is Antoine Fuqua and Denzel Washington's fourth film together. The first one was Training Day. Next one was Equalizer. Then they did The Magnificent Seven. And now
That's a good movie. I love that movie.
Yeah. And then they did Equalizer 2. But this one just doesn't live up to what they did before.
Falls short. It just falls short. It's like you want to like it. And it's a good movie, but it's not a great movie.
Yeah.
Like, the beginning's good, the end is good, the middle's just there.
There's a reason for that. We'll get into it.
I said what I liked about the movie, though. I really liked his relationship with the boy.
Miles.
And I wish that had been a little bit more of the focus of the film. And I kind of wish instead of the target of his friend, I kind of wish that the boy was the target and he was saving the boy. Which he kind of does, but without giving too much away.
Yeah.
However, I think if they had kind of rewritten it where his focus was to save the boy, just like in the first one he had to save the girl,
Yeah.
it would have been different, I think.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I really like his relationship with Miles. I felt that was really strong. One of my favorite scenes in the film is when he's grabbing Miles at the gang's hideout building, whatever it is. But he grabs Miles. He takes him down to the lobby. And Miles is like, you don't know me. And then Denzel does his Denzel thing.
Yeah.
He just does what Denzel does in all of his movies.
Scares the shit out of him.
Yeah, he gives the gun to the kid. He's like, you want to be a gangster? Shoot me. And he has the kid like put the gun to his head. And Denzel up until this point has been mentoring him. The kid just can't do it. The kid doesn't, he just breaks down and Denzel goes, give me that gun. You want to know what your friends are like? And then he puts like the gun in the kid's mouth.
Yeah.
And then he starts
turns
like,
the tables on him and the kid was really good. Has he been in anything?
Yep.
He has been in stuff.
in Moonlight. He was the middle story in Moonlight.
Oh, okay. He was phenomenal.
He's really good. He's a good actor.
Really good. That's what I'm saying. Is he's a really good actor. I wish we had more of him. The connection between Denzel Washington and Miles, and their relationship. If that was the focus of the whole film, I would have loved it.
Yep. But that's pretty much like where the things that I liked about the film kind of end.
Do you want to go into things we didn't like?
Yes, because the major problem with this film, why we can't, personally for me, I can't rate it any higher than what it is because what you mentioned, like you felt like the middle was really long, like it has a really good setup and a really good end. Essentially what this film is a really long first act. So films are broken into 3 acts. So the first act is usually the first 15 minutes of your film. The second act is usually the next 45 to 50 minutes of the film. And the third act is the next, say, 20 minutes of your film. Whereas this film, the way it's structured, really feels like the first act is the first hour. The second act is the next 10 minutes. And then the third act is the next 15 to 30 minutes of the movie.
Okay.
So we're going to get into tiny spoiler territory here. So if you don't want to know anything about the plot, I would recommend not watch it anymore. And I'll just say thank you for tuning in. Go watch the film for yourself if you want to see it. Otherwise, stay here. We're going to talk a little bit about the plot. We're going to give a little bit of the story away, so you've been warned. So let's count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So what happens is that at the end of the first act, Denzel Washington's government friend is killed. What takes us into the second act, essentially, is when Denzel finds out who killed his friend. And the person that killed his friend was another friend. So that's not revealed until, I want to say, like an hour and 30 minutes into the film. That is not your inciting incident to get you into the third act of the film.
It's not.
No. That's the inciting incident that gets us into the second act. What gets us into the third act is when those guys kidnap Miles. So when Miles is kidnapped, that is the third act. That is when the stakes are the highest, that if no mistakes can be made from here on out, because any mistakes from here on out, it is rock bottom for Denzel Washington's character. So when Miles is kidnapped, now we're into the third act. The amount of time that takes place from when we find out who the murders are to Miles being kidnapped is relatively about 10 to 15 minutes. That's our second act. For me, that's why this film has a structural problem and why it was hard for me to get into. Because to fill out that first act that they have, it's Denzel doing random things that are unrelated to the bigger plot at hand, to Denzel finding out who these guys are.
Yeah, and those were kind of confusing. To be honest, it confused me a little bit.
Like, I didn't feel like we needed the old man. Like, that to me was...
You know, it was touching.
It was sweet.
It was touching, and it was... But it didn't need to be in it. I agree with that.
Completely separate from the main plot.
That could have been its own separate movie.
We didn't need Denzel rescuing the little girl for the mom, which is, once again, completely unrelated to the main plot.
I didn't hate that, though.
I didn't hate it either. It's just not needed. And when you have a film that's over 2 hours long... Like, this could have just been an 80-minute movie. There's nothing wrong with making a movie that's an hour and 25 minutes long. All right,
10 minutes.
So we'll wrap it up. So The Equalizer 2, incredibly well acted, sloppy script, does not live up to the first film.
It just falls short.
That's it for this one. Equalizer 2, go see it for yourself. Maybe you did see it, you liked it, and you want to tell us that you thought it was great. Comment about it, let us know.
Thank you.
So that's it for this show. Stay tuned for more. Mission Impossible, I think, is the next one.
I know, you're so excited. I'm like...
I don't know why she's not a fan. I don't know.
I'm sitting here in shame.
I'm so excited.
I know you are.
Anyways, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.